Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning back into On Purpose. I appreciate it so much. Today, we're diving into one of the most important topics in all of our lives, relationships. And relationships aren't just about romance, they're about understanding, communication, and growth. In this episode, we're uncovering 5 relationship mistakes that slowly kill love and how you can fix them to build deeper, more meaningful connections. Good relationships don't just happen, they are built. But sometimes, without even realizing it, we make small mistakes that slowly push love away. And by the time we notice, the distance feels too big to fix. Today, we're going to uncover 5 of these mistakes, and more importantly, how to repair them before it's too late. Communication isn't just about words, it's about connection. Too often, people assume that talking automatically means they're communicating. But real communication happens when both partners feel seen, heard, and understood. In relationships, one of the most damaging habits is talking without truly listening. It creates an illusion of conversation, but in reality, both individuals may be speaking at each other rather than with each other. When we fail to listen, we unintentionally invalidate our partner's emotions, making them feel unheard and disconnected. Over time, this pattern builds frustration and distance, leading to unresolved tensions that slowly erode love. Many people listen to respond rather than to understand. Instead of being fully present in the conversation, they are already forming their reply in their mind, waiting for their turn to speak. This shifts the focus from mutual understanding to personal defense. When one person speaks and the other is not fully engaged, the message gets lost, leading to misinterpretations and assumptions. These misunderstandings then fuel arguments where both partners feel unheard, reinforcing a cycle of frustration and disconnection. The lack of true listening makes even simple conversations feel exhausting because neither person feels valued in the exchange. Another issue that stems from poor listening is dismissing emotions. When a partner expresses their feelings, the worst thing we can do is downplay their emotions or rush to provide a solution without first acknowledging how they feel. Phrases like "you're overreacting" or "it's not a big deal" may seem harmless, but they make the other person feel as though their emotions are not valid. This slowly discourages open communication because they learn that speaking up won't lead to understanding, only to dismissal. Over time, they may stop sharing altogether, and when words stop flowing, the emotional connection weakens. Active listening is the key to breaking this cycle. It's not just about hearing the words, but about being fully present in the moment. This means maintaining eye contact, nodding, and showing genuine interest. It also means asking clarifying questions and repeating back what was said to confirm understanding. Simple phrases like "oh, what I hear you saying" or "it sounds like you're feeling" create an environment where the other person feels acknowledged. This small shift in how we listen can transform conversations from surface-level exchanges to deep, meaningful connections. Pausing before responding is also crucial. Many arguments escalate because people react impulsively without processing what was just said. Instead of rushing to defend or explain, taking a deep breath and allowing a moment of silence can make all the difference. And this space allows both partners to reflect and respond with intention rather than emotion. In moments of disagreement, slowing down creates the opportunity for resolution rather than conflict. When both partners practice active listening, the relationship becomes a safe space where emotions can be shared freely without fear of judgment. Real connection isn't built through perfect words, but through genuine understanding. By making listening a priority, love grows deeper, and the bond between two people strengthens in the beginning of a relationship. Everything feels exciting. There's an eagerness to impress, to express appreciation, and to make the other person feel special. Compliments come easily. Small, thoughtful gestures happen naturally, and effort is put into every interaction. Over time, as comfort sets in, these gestures often start to fade. What was once intentional becomes routine, and the things that once felt like priorities start to seem like afterthoughts. When one or both partners begin to feel taken for granted, resentment can quietly build, creating a silent distance that weakens the foundation of love. People often assume that once love is established, it will sustain itself. There's a belief that once a connection is made, it doesn't require the same level of attention and effort. But love, much like anything valuable in life, needs consistent care. A partner who once felt cherished may start to feel invisible when their efforts go unnoticed or their presence is no longer appreciated. Simple gestures like saying thank you, acknowledging small acts of kindness, or expressing gratitude may start to disappear. What was once special can begin to feel expected, and when appreciation fades, so does the feeling of being valued. Routine can also create emotional distance. In long-term relationships, daily responsibilities, work, and external stressors often take center stage. Conversations shift from deep, meaningful exchanges to surface-level discussions about tasks and responsibilities. Couples who once prioritized time together may now spend evenings distracted by their phones, lost in separate routines. The lack of intentional connection sends an unspoken message that the relationship is no longer a priority. Even without conflict, this quiet neglect slowly drains the emotional intimacy that once felt so natural. Expectations can also become a hidden issue. When one partner continually gives without feeling appreciated, resentment begins to grow. Acts of love that were once freely given may start to feel like obligations. A person who once eagerly made an effort may begin to pull away when they feel that their contributions are unnoticed. Over time, this imbalance can create emotional exhaustion, where one person feels like they are giving more than they are receiving. This isn't about grand gestures or material gifts. It's about feeling recognized and valued in the relationship. Small changes, like expressing gratitude regularly, acknowledging efforts, and making time for meaningful connection, can reignite the sense of value within a relationship. Compliments, handwritten notes, or a simple acknowledgement of a partner's contributions can create a profound shift. Bringing back the effort from the early days of the relationship, whether through thoughtful gestures or words of affirmation, can make a partner feel seen again. Doesn't fade because of one big mistake. It fades when the daily expressions of care and appreciation slowly disappear. Keeping love alive requires consistently showing a partner that they are valued, not just assumed to be there. The strongest relationships are built on a foundation of intentional appreciation, where both individuals feel acknowledged, respected, and cherished in the small moments that truly matter. Many people believe that avoiding difficult conversations will keep the peace in a relationship. They assume that if they don't bring up an issue, it will simply go away with time. However, unspoken concerns don't disappear. They build up, creating silent tension that lingers beneath the surface. When feelings are suppressed instead of addressed, small frustrations accumulate, turning into deep-seated resentment. A partner might smile on the outside, but carry hidden hurt inside, allowing unexpressed emotions to shape their actions and responses. Over time, this silent weight can become a barrier between two people, making even simple interactions feel strained or disconnected. Avoiding conflict often stems from a fear of confrontation. Many people worry that bringing up an issue will lead to an argument or emotional discomfort. They convince themselves that keeping quiet is the best way to maintain harmony. Yet this silence gradually erodes the trust and emotional intimacy in the relationship. When someone feels unheard or unacknowledged, their sense of security in the relationship begins to fade. Instead of openly expressing concerns, they may resort to passive-aggressive behaviors, withdrawing affection or distancing themselves emotionally. What could have been resolved through a simple, honest conversation now turns into an ongoing cycle of avoidance and frustration. Another challenge with unaddressed conflict is that it distorts perception. When a problem isn't discussed, assumptions take its place. One partner may believe the other is indifferent or uncaring simply because they haven't addressed an issue. Meanwhile, the other partner might be completely unaware of the growing tension. Without communication, both individuals begin to create their own narratives, interpreting each other's actions based on their internal frustrations rather than reality. This leads to misunderstandings that deepen the emotional divide, making resolution even more difficult as time passes. Letting conflicts build up also changes how partners view each other. Instead of seeing the relationship as a source of comfort and support, they begin to associate it with stress and unresolved emotions. Every small annoyance becomes magnified, not because of the issue itself, but because of the accumulation of past grievances that were never addressed. A forgotten text message, a dismissive comment, or a moment of inattention suddenly feels like proof of a larger problem. The emotional burden of unresolved issues makes both partners more sensitive to minor frustrations, leading to frequent misunderstandings and unnecessary tension. Healthy relationships are not defined by the absence of conflict, but by the ability to handle conflict with love and understanding. Honest, respectful conversations allow partners to express their concerns without fear of judgment or retaliation. Speaking openly about problems when they arise prevents them from turning into something larger and more damaging. Taking the time to listen, validate feelings, and seek solutions together strengthens the bond between two people, fostering an environment where both individuals feel safe and valued. True intimacy comes from knowing that disagreements can be faced together, with the confidence that honesty will not threaten the relationship, but instead make it stronger. In the rush of daily life, relationships often take a backseat to responsibilities, work, social commitments, and personal ambitions. People assume that love, once established, will sustain itself without effort. However, just like anything valuable, a relationship requires consistent nurturing. The problem is that most couples don't even realize when they start deprioritizing their relationship. It happens gradually, almost invisibly. At first, it's missing a date night because of work. Then it's spending dinner scrolling through a phone instead of engaging in conversation. Before long, the relationship begins to feel more like a routine rather than a source of joy and connection. One of the biggest reasons people unintentionally neglect their relationship is the illusion of permanence. When love is new, every moment together feels precious, and effort comes naturally. But as time passes, partners begin to assume that love is secure and doesn't need the same level of attention. This is a dangerous misconception. Love is not a fixed state. It's a living, breathing connection that requires ongoing care. Without conscious effort, emotional distance slowly creeps in. The warmth of spontaneous affection is replaced by predictable routines, and meaningful conversations are replaced by logistical discussions about bills, schedules, or responsibilities. Another factor that leads to deprioritizing a relationship is the external pressure of modern life. The world demands productivity, success, and constant achievement. People push themselves to meet deadlines, chase career goals, and fulfill obligations, often at the cost of personal relationships. The irony is that many of these efforts are ultimately aimed at creating a better future together. Yet, in the process, the present relationship suffers. Partners tell themselves they will make time for each other later, but later keeps getting postponed. The reality is that emotional connection cannot be put on hold. A relationship that is neglected today may not be strong enough to survive when attention is finally redirected back to it. Emotional distance doesn't happen overnight. It builds in small, seemingly insignificant moments. When couples stop engaging in meaningful conversations, when they stop expressing appreciation, when shared experiences become rare, the foundation of the relationship weakens. It's not about grand gestures or extravagant vacations. It's about the daily acts of presence and intention. A simple "how was your day?" asked with genuine interest can mean more than an expensive gift. A shared laugh over an inside joke can reinforce a bond more than any elaborate plan. Making a relationship a priority doesn't require drastic changes. It starts with small, deliberate actions that reaffirm commitment and appreciation. Setting aside time for genuine connection, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, can make all the difference. Creating rituals, whether it's morning coffee together, an evening walk, or a weekly date night, ensures that the relationship remains a source of joy rather than just another part of the routine. Even in the busiest schedules, moments of undivided attention can remind both partners why they chose each other in the first place. Physical and emotional affection are the unspoken languages of love, communicating care, appreciation, and connection in ways that words often cannot. In the early stages of a relationship, affection flows naturally, hugs are longer, hands reach for each other instinctively, and small gestures of love feel effortless. Over time, however, many couples begin to neglect these simple yet powerful forms of connection. Life gets busy, stress builds up, and physical affection is often deprioritized without realizing its deep significance. The absence of these small but meaningful acts doesn't just reduce intimacy. It creates an emotional gap that, if left unaddressed, can make a relationship feel distant and disconnected. Affection is more than just a physical act. It's an emotional signal. A simple touch on the arm, a warm hug, or a reassuring handhold sends a message of safety and love. When partners stop engaging in these small acts, it can create an unintended feeling of rejection. Even if love is still present, the lack of affectionate gestures can make a partner feel unimportant or unwanted. The mind begins to interpret the absence of touch as emotional withdrawal, leading to insecurities, misunderstandings, and even resentment. It's not that the love is gone, but without physical and emotional expressions, it starts to feel distant, as if something essential is missing. Modern life can make it difficult to maintain affection. Stress, fatigue, work commitments, and personal struggles can drain the energy needed for physical closeness. Over time, routines replace passion, and the once natural urge to express love through touch begins to fade. For some, a lack of affection is intentional. It's simply a result of being caught up in the demands of daily life. For others, unresolved emotional issues create barriers to closeness. When conflicts go unaddressed, physical intimacy often suffers as well. A relationship where affectionate touch is rare can start to feel more like a cohabitation than a loving partnership. The power of affection goes beyond romantic intimacy. Simple daily gestures like a kiss before leaving for work, cuddling while watching a movie, or holding hands during a walk create a sense of emotional security. These small moments build connection and reinforce the bond between partners. Studies show that physical touch releases oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which strengthens emotional attachment and reduces stress. A lack of affectionate touch can lead to a gradual emotional detachment, making partners feel like they're growing apart, even if they still care for each other deeply. Reintroducing affection into a relationship doesn't require dramatic gestures. It starts with awareness and small, consistent efforts, making an effort to be physically present, giving unexpected hugs, expressing appreciation through touch, and being emotionally available all contribute to rebuilding closeness. It's about prioritizing intimacy, not just in physical terms, but in emotional presence as well. Even in long-term relationships, where familiarity might replace the initial excitement, a conscious effort to show affection keeps love alive. When partners make each other feel wanted and valued through both words and touch, the relationship remains strong, fulfilling, and deeply connected. Love doesn't fade overnight. It weakens through unnoticed habits, repeated mistakes, and a lack of effort. A thriving relationship isn't about grand romantic gestures. It's about the small, consistent actions that nurture trust, understanding, and connection. When communication breaks down, appreciation fades, conflicts remain unresolved, priorities shift, and affection dwindles. Love slowly starts to lose its depth. But the beautiful thing about relationships is that they can always be repaired with awareness and intention. The key to lasting love isn't perfection. It's effort. It's choosing to listen when it's easier to argue, to appreciate when it's easy to take for granted, to address issues when avoidance feels more comfortable, to prioritize each other in the midst of life's chaos, and to express affection even when routines dull the excitement. Every strong relationship is built on a foundation of intentional love, not just feelings. If we recognize these mistakes, commit to making small but meaningful changes, love doesn't have to fade. It can grow, evolve, and deepen over time. A fulfilling relationship isn't about never making mistakes. It's about learning, growing, and choosing each other every single day.